Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media. We are sports. We are lifestyle. Everything in between. It was an amazing U.S. Open week, even though our bets didn't win. JJ Spaun won. We'll talk all about that and all of the shenanigans that happened at Oakmont over those 4 illustrious days. We're moving on to Connecticut at the TPC River Highlands for the Travelers. It's going to be a good one. Jake Parry's in the back waiting for me. Let's hit it. Thank you again for joining us on the 19th hole. Connor Coughlin on assignment. Jake Parry is back with us. Our 6th man of the year, 3rd man of the year, the best golfer in the IBT crew. How are you doing, Jake?
Oh, I'm good, all things considered. I'm sad that we don't get to watch the carnage that is Oakmont anymore. But hey, you know,
it was fun. It's funny that's probably the easiest Oakmont could have played. Ironically, honestly. Yeah, it was soggy and soft, and they still had one man finish under par over 4 days, which it warms my heart because I love carnage. You love carnage. Oh, yeah. There was so much carnage, even with soft greens and soft fairways, that made them a lot wider than they actually are. The rough was still nasty. The bunkers were still real nasty, and those greens, even running a 13.5 with the rain, was nasty. Like they're hard to read. They're you got to be in the right position. It was a thinking man's golf course, and one man prevailed. We'll cover that in the news, Niblick. But did you cash any bets? Because I know I didn't.
I got Rom top 10. I called that out on the radio show I do over with Fantasy Alarm. That was I think it was plus 225, which I saw that and was just, I'm going to bet that. Rom was coming in on fire. Scottie didn't bet him at all. I had a Ben Griffin top 10 as well, so that one split cashed. Okay. So a couple.
Yeah, I didn't. I bet Griffin top 20 and I bet Rom top 5, so I missed. And I had Burns outright, but not any other. I didn't have any trail bets on that, so I couldn't even cash out, avoiding the total tragedy from the week. But yeah, I was on the edge of my seat all 4 days, and it was great to watch, even though my bets didn't come true because JJ Spaun blew everything up in our face. Oh well, it was still a great moment. It was still a great tournament, and what a finish! What a finish!
You know, it's a great tournament when I could turn it on and my wife didn't complain that I was watching golf. Even she was having fun watching it.
It was riveting.
She's like, is it always this hard to play golf? And I was like, for most of us, yes. For pros, no.
Just this week.
just the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And on this week, you can truly count on to be brutal every year.
And on this course, it was so nice to see. And everything I said came true, where the top players in the world were complaining from the first round on, and it didn't change anything. Guess what? Everybody's playing the same course. It was really hard for everyone.
Yeah. But hey, JJ pulled it out.
Yeah. Well, let's jump right in.
The craziest final putt I've ever personally watched.
That was like when Nick Taylor won the Canadian Open a couple years ago, but on a way bigger stage.
Yeah. Way bigger stage, way harder course.
Yeah.
Literally like a life-changing win for JJ Spaun.
He came out of nowhere. All right. Let's hit the news, Niblick, and talk about this in depth because we got a lot to cover. The U.S. Open was that good, people. JJ Spaun is your U.S. Open champion. His first major, his first win this season. He had 3 top 5s coming in, so he's having his best season of his career. Normally, we bet on him on lesser events on shorter courses like the one this week. But this is the U.S. Open at Oakmont, and he comes in there and basically as accurate off the tee as I've ever seen him. Yep. His iron play was dialed, and a new focus and a whole different approach on short game, thanks to this coach who's now very much a different person now. Didn't just change JJ Spaun's life. That short game coach that revamped his entire short game before this tournament, that dude's getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
And the short game was absolutely phenomenal for JJ Spaun. This guy had no business winning the U.S. Open at Oakmont in this field with everybody around him in these conditions. And guess what? He goes out there and does it on Father's Day on the heels of a 3 a.m. CVS run with a puking kid on Father's Day morning. Perfect segue to 5 bogeys in his first 6 holes, 4-shot deficit going into the rain delay. And he still there. Nevertheless, he persisted and hits a ridiculously good drive on 17, the drivable par 4, 20 feet, 2-putt birdie, 18, one of the toughest holes on the golf course. No problem. Find the fairway, you're gold. He hits the fairway, he hits the green. He barely hits the green, but then a gift from the golf gods. Payback from hole number 2 where he stuck it off the flagstick and ended up bogeying a birdie hole. Payback, karma, golf gods, all balanced out for JJ Spaun in the 18th hole because he hit his approach to 65 feet. He needs 2 putts to win over Robert McIntyre, who was 3 under on the weekend at Oakmont.
Yeah. Bobby Mack played insane.
That's the craziest stat is Bobby Mack, when the conditions got nasty, the Scot comes out there and says, pull up your Blarney stones. We're going golfing.
He said, wait a second. I know how to play here.
Yeah, he was great. But JJ Spaun on 18, Victor Hovland throws his approach shot just a couple inches outside of his line, giving the perfect teach on the lag putt of his life. And honestly, that was supposed to be a lag putt. Yeah. But when he saw Hovland take an aggressive pace at it and it only rolled 4 feet past, he knew he could go after it. And Hovland's fast, aggressive putt still missed on the low side. And JJ Spaun knew I can play more break and I can hit the ball hard and go after this hole. It's like, why do it in 2 when you can just hammer it home?
That's the crazy thing. Is like, even if that missed, he's what, maybe 18 inches coming back?
2 feet maybe. Max. Yeah, 2 feet max. Because it was uphill past the hole. We saw that from Victor's putt. And that was 65 feet on those greens with you've been putting it on fast greens up until that day, the whole time. And you have to account for the undulation, the speed of the greens, plus the moisture on the greens. And that was a perfect putt. It was dead center.
And even crazier about this whole thing, even with that putt made, his 3rd best putting round of the event.
Yeah, that's how good he was with short clubs in his hand. JJ Spaun won the U.S. Open on the heels of an immaculate short game performance.
Yeah, you truly couldn't if you look at the breakdown, if you look at the correlation on Data Golf between what typically matters and where this ended up, putting technically mattered less here than it does in a traditional event.
True.
You see him just obviously ran away with it because of the putter. The rest of his game was good. It wasn't bad by any means, but throughout the tournament gained essentially a half stroke with every other club in the hand. And then with the putter gains 2.5. And then you see a guy like Hovland who lost strokes with the putter, lost just 0.1 strokes off the tee. And that was the difference, is just truly.
Yeah. His iron play wasn't quite good enough to beat JJ's short game.
Exactly.
And speaking of putting, the best putter in the field coming in was Sam Burns. He goes out there, shoots 65 on Friday. That was a ridiculous round of golf. That was the toughest conditions of the whole week were on Friday. And he goes out there, and when guys are shooting that daily average was 76 that day, 76 average, he goes and shoots 65 with 0. He bogeyed the very first hole.
Yep.
Full bogey, 6 birdies coming in, 65. Takes a 1-shot lead into Sunday. Looking pretty good. He's just making pars while everybody's kind of falling back. He had a couple shot lead, then he fell back with a bogey, and then the rain delay hit. And the course got soaked. In a short amount of time. It's debatable that they should have Monday finished this sucker since a playoff would have been Monday anyway. I think so. But they decided to continue play on late Sunday afternoon. And there's a lot of water on that golf course. You can see him with the squeegees. And Sam Burns on 15, very, very difficult hole, especially on approach. You have to hit the fairway to have any chance at par on the hole. He hits the fairway. It lands with a splash. The only reason that drive did not plug is because there was too much water in the way. It hit the water on the ground and splashed as it landed. And he gets up there and he's in about 3 or 4 millimeters of standing water under the ball and around the ball, bottom of the ball. And then his stance has, as soon as you step on his stance, you can see water rise up, does the right thing, calls the rules official over. Hey, I'm thinking about getting taking a club length away from this standing water from the giant rainstorm we just waited an hour and a half for. And the first official comes by and says, nope, it's not enough standing water. Like, okay. That's bull. So calls another official over. They delay even longer. It's a really big deal. This is one of the toughest approaches, the toughest tucked pin on the golf course that day on 15, back left. And he cannot afford a wet golf ball underneath it. Like even a couple millimeters of wet golf ball underwater. You can't control the spin. You can't control the trajectory. You don't know where the ball is going to go. It's like having mud on the side. And second rules official comes over, says the same thing as the first one. The 2 most bogus rulings in the history of golf, by the way, back to back on the same play. And it's the USGA US Open. They're the governing body. They write the rule book. I think there's cobwebs on those officials' rule books based on the way they ruled that. We're talking a lot of what he was basically trying to play that approach shot, the biggest approach shot of his life, in a puddle. And
yeah, it was tough. It was a tough look.
A spin hook into the left rough, short-sighted, automatic double bogey where it should have been a par, could have been a birdie, most likely a par, cost him at least 2 shots on the hole, and effectively it went from tied for the lead to no chance to win in one decision made twice incorrectly. So the controversy is, what is wrong with these rules officials of the actual governing body of the rules of golf in the United States? And how badly did Sam Burns get absolutely screwed in this deal?
Yeah, I mean, I will say he got screwed. Absolutely. That should have changed. I don't think he wins even with a good ruling there.
It's fair because he unraveled completely after that, but after the rain delay, he double bogeyed the very first hole, number 12, I believe, and then 11, and then 12's a par 5. Birdie hole makes bogey. That's a bad look. And if he comes out of that rain delay at all close to good par, he wins going away. Unfortunately, he's 3 over the first 2 holes after the delay. He's tied for the lead, and then 15 happens, and then the wheels are fully off after 15 because 16 he was messing around. 17 he was already out of it, and so a birdie hole, it's still too late at that point.
Yeah, I mean, he had no semblance of the game he had the other 3 days on. He lost almost 5 full strokes total on Sunday. He just
Pretty
had
much
no
just on the back 9 Sunday too. Like he lost all those strokes in a span of 6 or 7 holes.
Yeah, he just lost all semblance of what made him so good throughout the rest of the tournament. It's unfortunate. Would the ruling change much? Probably his paycheck coming home. Probably cost him a few $100,000, but I mean,
but I still think he's there with McIntyre and Spaun at the end.
He's close, for sure.
Yeah, especially if you're not 3 shots back going into 17, that becomes a very interesting hole. Like what happened with Spaun is he birdied 17 and 18. Nobody's really doing that on the golf course.
Yeah.
But McIntyre shooting a 68 on Sunday. Crazy. That is monster. That is an all-time, like, tell your grandkids about that round of golf. Like, even though he didn't win, you could see he was just full applause for JJ Spaun because Spaun deserves it. That was an incredible win for him.
Yeah.
It hurt my feelings that I didn't pick him, but what a moment.
Yeah, I mean, courtesy of Monday Q Info, one of my favorite Twitter accounts to follow. If you guys don't follow him, you absolutely should. Just basically gave the last like 10, 11 years of JJ's career, going from making like 2014, made one cut and $825 on the Canadian tour. And then you see him come over, he finally gets on Korn Ferry, gets his card, loses his card, goes to Korn Ferry finals to get it back. 2021 only keeps his card because it's the COVID year and they let basically everybody keep their card. Then has a really good year in 22 and then loses it, or doesn't lose it, but loses as good of a game as he had in 22 and 23, got even worse in 24, and then just comes out and just masterful performance.
Now he's got 3 top 5s and a major out of nowhere this season.
Yeah, it just truly
you love to see
a feel good story, and it was awesome to watch. Like,
and for all the things we talk about this season, Scottie and Rory is what about like Ben Griffin and now we got JJ Spaun with these moments. Like, these are the real stories. These are guys that were barely scraping by, thinking about quitting professional golf.
Ben Griffin was doing mortgages 4 years ago.
Yeah, he literally did quit playing golf.
Yeah, did that, and then you look at even just his last 6 events: 2 wins, a top 8 at a major, a top 10 at a major, and a second place finish at the Memorial, one of the more prestigious tournaments just out there. Like, dude, and he's a guy who's out here. He's like, his golf ball sponsor is MaxFly. Like, Dick's Sporting Goods essentially is sponsoring the guy's golf ball. It's a great golf ball. No knock on it. I love playing it.
I played noodles for a while there. The MaxFly Pro Ball that he plays is pretty close to it feels like a TaylorMade to me, or a Srixon. It's not that far off.
It's a tour ball. Like, you get the stories like that, and they're just that's so much more fun to me than just, like, seeing events like this where we have, like, you look at the top leaderboard, maybe you would probably consider Hovland, Rahm, Scheffler to be the only like true household names in the sport that are in the top 10. You have JJ Spaun and Bobby McIntyre, Cam Young, Carlos Ortiz, Sam Burns. Like, half those guys, like, us nerds know. We know lots of golfers, but your average casual, let's say you watch golf on TV when it's on, or when you're flipping through and you catch it and you just feel like watching it for a while. They'll recognize Rahm and all the guys that went to Live. They might recognize Sam Burns from previous year's success. Right.
But like Ortiz and Spaun, they don't know who those guys are. They're not close enough to the game to realize that even if you go 200 deep on the PGA Tour, they're all really good golfers. And every dog has his day. We hope that the Ben Griffin story and the JJ Spaun story won't turn into a Wyndham Clark story. Over the weekend, obviously Wyndham Clark missed the cut at Oakmont because, of course, he missed the cut at Oakmont. It was a terrible fit, and he's been playing awful golf this year. And his frustrations have already taken their toll on the PGA Tour with his destruction of the T-Mobile banner a few weeks ago with throwing his driver in disgust at himself. Damages his own sponsor's sign on the golf course.
That was the funniest part. That's his like number one sponsor.
That's going to come up in the board meeting, I'm pretty sure. And now not just damaging sponsorship billboards. We're on to allegedly, but pretty much confirmed, Wyndham Clark, in his frustration from missing the cut by a mere 6 shots, he decided to take it out on the lockers, the wicker locker inserts at Oakmont, which are probably older than his grandma.
Yeah, they're. And the craziest part is learning that's not even the most damage that's been done to that locker room.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure that lots of people have done the same thing as him, and it's just never been documented because not everything's as in touch as it is these days. But Wyndham Clark is starting to develop an MO, a modus operandi for when he doesn't play well. Is he used to be all sad and weepy, and now he's enraged to the point of vandalism. This is it's an alarming trend for Wyndham Clark, who has always been a fiery player, but he's already crossed the line, and this is so far over the line that I think that any level of discipline, short of a short suspension, would probably be too light, because this is happening more frequently, and he's progressing, and damage is done.
Yeah. I've never liked Wyndham Clark. I'll start off by saying that. I don't know if we'll see a suspension. The only reason we may is just because it's a major.
Kick him off the tour, Doug.
Kick him off the tour, Doug. I mean, we saw, was it earlier this year, late last year, Tom Kim messed up a locker room, didn't really get any punt. Like, they don't really do it. The only reason it might is because it's Oakmont. It's a super historic venue. It's the U.S. Open run by the USGA. I don't know. I've never liked Wyndham. His whole shrink the tour after he had one good season where he would have been the guy that was shrunk off the tour for the rest of his career.
Yeah. And then we would never get to see this illustrious 25 season where he's basically on his way to losing his card anyway.
Yeah. He's in the official world golf ranking. He opened 2025 at, I want to get the exact number here. He was the number 7 player in the world. He's dropped 20 spots. Like, they're live golfers who have not dropped as many spots as he has.
That's bad because they're not getting any points.
No, they truly are only getting them at majors. And if they play like an Asian Tour event or a DP World Tour event.
So is Wyndham Clark currently ranked above or below Joaquin Niemann?
That's a phenomenal question, actually.
Because Niemann has won 4 times on the Live Tour, and he's actually placed better in majors, or at least at the PGA. Niemann is getting no points for his 4 wins on Live.
He is still ahead of Niemann. However,
unreal.
Niemann has essentially been neutral in official world golf ranking points
this year.
Which is
impressive. That shows his results have kept him there, basically, right?
Yeah, he has not dropped 20 spots while getting to play in events that give you points every week.
Wyndham Clark not making points and actually damaging private property. Come on, Wyndham. Dudes do better.
I texted my buddy Sam and I was like, I'm not saying I could beat Wyndham Clark in a match straight up, but I'm not saying it wouldn't be close at this point.
It would be
golf right now.
It would be close, and you could do it because it would be super easy to crack him in match play, like getting in their head, playing mind games with that guy. Piece of cake. Everybody's played with a hothead who takes himself way too seriously, and the way to beat them in match play is just to let them implode. Like, to let their demons just start just picking at them, and just little backhanded compliments, like when they make a birdie early in the match and win a hole. Like, damn, that was a really good hole. Great job, dude. And they hate it because they're trying to intimidate you, and you're just like,
yep.
Yeah. No, I think if you got in his head, you would absolutely beat Wyndham Clark at his current form.
He goes to chip a ball on and still leaves it off the green. You're like, I don't know if laying up was the play there. Just hit him with some of those quick jabs.
He should have used the 7-iron to get a little more run out.
He'd be 19 over through 7.
He'd probably take out the lockers at the club you're playing at.
Sir, you can't flip the golf cart over. I'm going to do it anyway.
He can. He shouldn't. All right. let's talk about TPC River Highlands. We got to get on to the Travelers. It's a really good event. We love this. It's the People's Championship, where Phoenix is the People's Open because they let everybody in. All right, Travelers Championship at TPC River Highlands. Right off the top of my head, I know this course well. It is 6,800 yards, par 70, Pete Dye design. One of his more generic designs. It's got elements of Sawgrass. It's got elements of other of his designs, but it's not really the championship stadium course we're typically seeing on the tour with Pete Dye designs. The advantage of this tournament is we get to see a signature event birdie fest with no cut. This golf course is even though it's Pete Dye and it's positional play, there's a lot more nuance that you can get away with shaping the ball or bombing it over the trees like Rory and Ryan Fox probably will this week, because Ryan Fox can't hit it right to left, so he's got to go over if he can't hit a cut. But it's fun because a lot of different ways can win here as long as you make a lot of birdies. So what's your take on this tournament and with this field attacking this course?
Yeah, absolute birdie fest, like you said. I mean, it's got a lot of those standard Pete Dye design features to it, right? Like driving accuracy is premium here compared to driving distance. Total driving, as a result, gets a bump here. Compared to other PGA Tour events, around the green and putting both play much more important factors this week here. But I mean, realistically, you get the ball in the fairway, you can hit you can ball strike and putt pretty decently. You're going to score well here. And I mean, it's the reason that we saw, I think it was 2 years ago, Keegan Bradley set the scoring record here with 257, 23 under par.
Yep.
Like, we're going to see a lot of low scores this week. It's going to be fun.
I think that number gets challenged this week with this field being as strong as it is. Scottie last year when he won this tournament, 22 under par, with the rounds of 65, 64, 64, 65. Yeah, that's super duper consistent greatness. This course seems to be tailor-made for a kind of guy like him. Wonder why he's just that good. But I think this tournament really has a lot of appeal to it because of the strength of the field and the fact that it's not your straightforward birdie fest like you see in Puerto Rico or even at the John Deere, where there's not a lot of peril. This course still has some danger to it. You want to consider double bogey avoidance maybe over bogey avoidance. So you see the guys who can make a lot of birdies but also avoid the blow up hole that cost them the tournament. Exactly. We've seen that over the years, like from Eric Van Rooyen a couple of years ago. We saw him completely find every body of water on the golf course.
He found some that they didn't even know existed.
No,
like that's how he was.
That's why I have always called Eric Van Rooyen the willow branch. He always finds water. Basically, this is the kind of tournament where it's really fun to watch on TV because there's lots of putts rolling in, and you get to see these guys on the attack versus last week where they were definitely getting pinned down by a golf course that was monstrous. And this golf course is going to return them to their parkland ball striking and strategy roots of the PGA Tour, which is your classic event. This event's been here at this golf course since 1984. So that's something we can really use to be predictive and to pick golfers who not only have had good history here, but have also come into this week red hot in good form, because I think that putting element is important. If you're going to make putts here, you most likely going to be putting really well coming into the week. So that's really predictive. We've seen that over the years where Scottie Scheffler came in where he was just pulling out of that really bad putting slump that he was in. And then we were wondering this time last year whether he could make enough putts to win a birdie fest like this. And the answer was a resounding sí, señor. He got muy en fuego with the putter last year at this tournament. And so let's get into the odds because it's a really interesting breakup the books are throwing at us based on it's Scottie really versus everyone else, and even Rory is kind of taken that back burner position on the books where it's a really tempting thing to do when it's a guy who can absolutely light that place up and has before. It's interesting. Let's hit the drop and think about where we want to put our money because there's a lot of choices here. So, Scottie Scheffler plus 280 at most books. I'm referring to DraftKings Sportsbooks as of right now, Monday night. Plus 280, defending champ. Pretty much if you had a perfectly fit glove of golf course that Scottie would design himself to make himself shoot the lowest score possible, it'd probably be this one.
Yeah.
So for my money, I'm going to say that's a really nice mini skirt you got there, Rory, at plus 1100, but it's really not smart money betting on you right now in your current status. Like mentally, he's not there with us. Yeah. Scottie Scheffler here is coming off a week where he couldn't make any putts, but he still ends up top 10 at the US Open. And I predicted that would happen, is that when you have to when the golf course challenges how well you read greens, Scottie Scheffler doesn't make as many putts. Yep. That's what happened at Oakmont. Oakmont's one of the most difficult places to read putts at in the entire world. Like there's so much stuff to worry about on those greens that we saw Scottie Scheffler's weakness in reading greens and not involving Ted Scott enough. That was exposed. It doesn't get exposed at all at this golf course. This is going to be like, oh, Scottie can read this putt in nothing flat. And they roll really true, that nice POA blend that they run here. It's a really nice golf course. The putts run clean and true. That's why we get a lot of scoring opportunities. Scottie's going to give himself 12 to 14 birdie chances every single day. And if he makes 40% of them, he wins by 5. That's the scary part. And that's why for the first time this season, I'm going to just lay the lumber on the favorite plus 280. And I'm not going to be nonchalant about it. It's going to be very intentional and very aggressive because Scottie Scheffler should win this tournament this week.
Yeah, I mean, we saw possibly the worst Scottie Scheffler we've seen in 3 years last week, and he finished top 7 at Oakmont. I did some line shopping over here. I bet 365 was the best I could find. They have them at plus 3. So that's where I'm sprinkling. And by sprinkling, I mean multi-unit. Scottie's going to win this one.
Like Parm fountain.
Yeah, except it's more just like throwing the block of Parmesan on top of the pasta.
Slam the entire wheel.
Yeah. Especially when you look at like the rest of, call our cutoff 2,500 for, kind of the favorites in the group that really gets you the top, 5-6 guys here. The only other one that I have a little interest in is Patrick Cantlay, and that's mostly off of course history here. He's got 7 straight top 15 finishes. Will he put it all together? Probably not. It's kind of what he's known for. He's a much more comfortable top 10, top 20 bet guy here, which is where I like most of the guys in this range quite a bit more. Colin, a little interesting at plus 1,800, but again, like if I'm betting, as much as I'm comfortable betting on Scottie this week, the rest of the money is going to go elsewhere for me.
Yeah, and I'm looking huge into birdie or better percentage this week because I want to see guys who have been converting on those chances. And it goes Scottie, Rory, JT, and then Sepp Straka, who we're going to talk about for sure in a little bit. But Ludwig Oberg for me at 25 to 1 is the kind of guy with the upside I'm looking for at that number, where the other guys I'm like, okay, I can see you finishing top 5, but I don't see you actually pushing it over the top to win in this field. This field is nasty strong. It's like one of the stronger ones we've had, like just in concentration and how condensed the talent is at the top of this board. Ludwig Oberg's the kind of guy that I can see him just lighting the place up because of his ball striking and not worrying so much about his short game, shortcomings. It's more of like, can he be the guy who goes 23, 24 under? And you have to say that Ludwig is definitely that guy. That and him and Straka are the guys that I see in that range that kind of give me that vibe that, hey, we can go really low on a golf course that requires accuracy.
Yeah, if we can get the JT form from kind of the Truist and Pryor,
the off the tee game needs to straighten up, JT, because it's killing him. He's so good on approach. His short game's so nasty, and off the tee's just been crippling his scores.
Yep, but you can get him at plus 3,000 on Bet365 right now, and
God, that's
tempting.
That's not fair.
If he can figure it out, if we get, like I said, if we get the ball striking and driver play that we got kind of before the Truist,
he makes
Pryor,
so many birdies when he's in the fairway.
It's he just hasn't been. You look at his accuracy percentage relative to field. This was his best performance, and he still lost 9% accuracy to the field. Like 9% more of his drives went not in the fairway than the average player in this event, and that's when everybody was awful off the tee.
Yeah. And I have him 45th in my filtered model off the tee. That's the only thing that doesn't look good on the stat model because he's third in mine. But 30-1 with all those stats except for off the tee, it really is tempting, and I will have to consider it, especially if it slips even a little farther.
Yeah, if it's been trending down. Basically, every other book has him at about plus 25.
Yeah.
So getting it at plus 30, if that continues to stick on that trend there, he opened on Bet365 at plus 22. So 22-1. So he's down to 30-1. Basically every book he opened at 22.
So we got like 3 days for that to slip even just another 5. 35-1 JT is green light.
Yeah. There's a guy at 35, a couple guys at 35 that I'm really interested in this week. And if JT falls to that, those guys kind of go to the wayside, and it's a JT all the way if he gets to 35.
Yeah. So what do you think of Sepp Straka? Because he comes in 5th in my model, and the only thing that I can see that he might get messed up by is short game. Chipping and putting haven't been his strong suit, but he's also so accurate off the tee and on approach that he might not have to worry about short game as much as the average player here because of his strengths on ball striking. Sepp Straka on a sub 7,000 course.
Oh yeah,
ooh, baby, does he get results?
Yeah, he's a short course merchant, and it's no surprise to see him so highly here. Even looking at his past performances, and I think we can all agree this is probably I shouldn't even say probably. This is the best Sepp Straka we've ever seen on the PGA Tour currently.
He's getting better all the time.
And he's got a top 10 here in the past 4 years. He's got a top 25 here last year when he was playing objectively bad golf all the way around. Like, this is a course he's comfortable on. If we can if the rest of his game can continue to be what it has been, and he can just not lose strokes with the wedges in his hands. Yeah. It's really what it'll boil down to, I think.
Who else do you like in this range?
Keegan, surprisingly, is another guy that I do like here. He's
Lots
accurate.
of people like Keegan this week. I get it. He won a couple years ago, and he's, of course, a fan favorite. Is a very popular tournament, second most attendance behind Waste Management. And a lot of them are going to be behind their guy, Captain America. I mean, this guy is Keegan Bradley is playing good golf, but he's an even better storyline in the golf world because he's already been an endearing figure in golf. Like, people just generally like him, and he's quirky and he's not standard. He's definitely not a country club white laced kid. Like, this is the quintessential Ryder Cup captain. He should stay the captain for as long as he wants to be captain because he makes the American team better just by by leadership,
Yep.
like having the aura. Like aura matters at the Ryder Cup.
You can call it aura farming, but it matters. But he's also like, he's not probably going to be a playing captain. I would imagine he's probably not going to put himself in the lineup there.
He's borderline right now, and so it'll be interesting to see if he takes the selfless route and includes a guy like Ben Griffin, who might even actually automatically qualify.
Yeah.
He's an easier captain's pick, but the American team is looking stronger by the day, and Keegan Bradley, if he does end up playing his way into where you're just like, hey, here you're still the best guy for this team, it shouldn't matter that you're the captain as well. Like it doesn't hinder you in any way to be the captain who also plays. It has happened before, especially with younger captains who are still playing regular tour events.
Yeah, and for this week especially, he lines up really well. His over the last, call it 6-7 events, his around the green game has been absolutely insane, consistently gaining strokes on that. His approach has been really solid off the tee. He's back he's accurate and long, which is something that he was missing from his game quite a bit. We've seen the putter bounce back after some, he definitely had some struggles there with it, but couple back-to-back positive weeks overall with the putter. Compared to the field at +4, 40 to 1. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it is intriguing, and I've just seen a lot of people on him, so I'm gonna have to dig deeper into that because when there is smoke, there's fire among people who do this. That's what happens is you get one pick that's just really, really easy to make at the odds that they're at, and that's one of them. It makes you don't have to think twice about a Keegan Bradley bet because even if it's not even positive value, you're always got the root for him element. Like
exactly.
I'm going to be all in behind this guy and fired up just like he is on the golf course to get results out of it.
And there's something fun about whether it's a bet, whether it's in your DFS lineups, just having a guy in there that you like and that you like to root for.
Well, I bet him at 2023 when he won, and that was mainly because I knew the hometown element, and he was coming in hot, just like he kind of is right now. So why not?
Why not?
My next one's not until 70 to 1. So if you haven't been anybody in that 50 range or thereabouts, do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got one guy. We've talked about him kind of in length. To an extent already on this pod, Ben Griffin at 55 to 1.
Yeah, that's a great line. Great line.
Exactly the type of golfer that you want at this type of course. Doesn't really get too wily out there. He's definitely a guy that you want to book shop because some books have him as high as 45. FanDuel, you can get him at 55 to 1 right now. But just a guy. He's putting out of his mind. The wedges have been insane. Irons, phenomenal. Driver started off pretty neutral kind of on this hot run for him where he wasn't gaining anything, but he wasn't really losing a ton distance and accuracy wise.
His accuracy does worry me because he's a slasher. He's going out there for speed to try to get the bomb and gouge advantage. It's been working for him. At this place, the bomb and gouge only works if you're Rory or Ryan Fox or somebody like that. Ben Griffin's not quite in that tier of ball speed where he's going to be taking crazy angles over trees. So I think Ben Griffin could struggle off the tee here, but he could still also go on a complete tear because that's how hot he is right now. He's a birdie-making machine.
And I always say with the driver, so much of it is confidence. He gained 17.7% at the U.S. Open on distance and 4% on accuracy. You can drive it far and accurate at Oakmont. Going here is not going to intimidate you. And I think that's going to be truly what gives him more of a shot than I would typically be in on, given his accuracy struggles at times.
Well, we've reached the point in the show where I make the most aggressive bet of the entire week. And it's based on odds. It's based on course fit. It's based on just recent form this whole season. How did Akshay Bhatia open at 70 to 1 at this golf course? Because
I don't know, Bob.
Right now, I'm thinking all the cojones I didn't lay on the Scottie Scheffler side are going to go towards the Akshay Bhatia side, and I'm going to be pretty forward about it because that's an insanely positive value bet for a guy who shapes it well off the tee. He's been playing great when it requires shot shaping on Pete Dye courses. His approach game with wedge in hand, it's like 150 and in, as good as there is in the world. And now this guy is riding a hot putter. Akshay Bhatia can absolutely put 25 under on the board at this golf course. He was top 5 last year in his debut at this tournament when debutantes really don't do well at this golf course. This is kind of one you have to see once and then come back and play stronger in years. So if that trend continues for young players like Akshay Bhatia, then we're in for a treat.
Well, we've seen him be successful on a similar course. Like, I don't know if there's truly a better, like, kind of your two best comparison courses, I think, on tour, Colonial and TPC Deer Run.
Yep.
Both courses he's had success on in the past. We saw him earlier this year. Colonial tied for 22nd, where I don't think he wanted to be playing golf with a wedge in his hand that week. But that part of his game has bounced back pretty heavily. The ball striking has been super consistent of late. He drove it well, all things considered, at Oakmont. He just didn't putt super well. And that's really, kind of what killed him. But like you said, when you get to these courses where it's just, okay, there's the line, hit it now.
Yep. Yeah, I like Bhatia so much. That's going to be a full ladder bet for me.
Yeah, that's a good one. One guy in this range who I hate that I'm in on this guy, and you probably know who I'm about to say.
Yeah, but indulge us.
It's Brian Harman.
Oh, I know.
I hate it.
I hate him. I just can't stand watching him play. He is the only pro that I've seen where it bothered me how he played. Like, it just bothered me to watch him play. And most golfers, you can't be bothered. It's art, it's science, it's everything. And then Brian Harman comes out there, and you're just uninspired.
You're like why?
You want to quit golf because you're watching Brian Harman play it.
Quite literally, but again,
but he's so good on this course.
A guy you got to bookshop again, because some books have him all the way up at 55 to 1. FanDuel's got him right now at 90 to 1.
Oh, that's a good one.
He's missed one cut in his last 7 starts here and has never finished worse than 9th in that span.
I hate it.
I hate the guy.
I hate it.
When you have that track record of success here,
make it stop.
It sucks. But, and even like he's played bad of late, but really
so bad.
He's still been super accurate with the driver. He just doesn't have the distance. We know that doesn't matter as much on this layout. The putter's still been solid enough. He's had good weeks with the irons. He's had some good weeks with the wedges. He's going to have to put it together, but this is a course he's consistently put it together on, regardless of incoming form.
Yeah. I hate to say it, but you might be onto something. I'm going to drop down and 2 guys. I'm just going to wrap up my last 2 because they're kind of in the same range. Tom Kim, course history and just recent form. He looked really good at Oakmont for a while. He didn't look good the whole time, but for a while, Tom Kim was pretty dialed. And I like the way his putting has bounced back because it was atrocious for a good long while, and now it's very passable. So I think Tom Kim at 90 to 1 is a really nice value. And then I'm going to go back to another short course merchant in the making, Ryan Gerard, 100 to 1. That's where I'm going to wrap up my card. And I'll probably throw in a couple top 20s on each one of those because I think that they're the kind of guys I want to see on this course because they're those accurate planners that can just kind of technician their way around and shoot 68, 67, and then maybe throw in a 64 one of the days, and they're right there.
Exactly. Yeah. My last 2 guys are very uninspiring. I'll be very honest here. Nick Taylor has absolutely horrid history here, but the dude's playing some really good golf of late.
He's playing better golf than this season than he has in years past. Even when he won, he was playing better golf this season.
Yeah. If you look at his last 6 starts, he's got 1 missed cut. It was at the PGA. So again, tough field, tough course. Tied for 23rd this past week. Putted really, really well. The putter's been good. The wedges have been fine. Irons have been good. He's accurate off the tee. You can get him at 110 to 1.
Can he make enough birdies? It's
uninspiring.
You said uninspiring, so
it's uninspiring. Hold on, it's gonna get worse. I kind of don't hate sprinkling a little bit on Lucas Glover at 200 to 1.
Ooh.
He's accurate. The irons have been really good this year. The wedges have been really
good this year. If he can make some putts, he's got to give himself chances. He's always gonna be close to the hole when a wedge is in his hand. He's really good at that. But the guy just can't putt at all, and it's frustrating because he's always right there.
He gets really mad at aim point, but he may want to give it a shot because
anything.
Something's got to give at some point for him, because like the rest of his game is still, for a 45-year-old career guy who's just been out here forever doing it. He's close. He's been close this year. He was 3rd at the Players, 3rd at the Pebble Beach. Last year, 3rd at Black Desert, 3rd at Sanderson. Like, not too dissimilar layouts overall to what he's going to see here. It's a straightforward course. He's a straightforward golfer. Uninspiring, but hey, if I can bet $2 to potentially make 400, why not?
That'll work.
I spent $2 in so many worse ways.
Way worse. All right, so let's wrap up the show here and with your score prediction and who gives it to us.
I'm going to lean into Scottie here. I truly do think Scottie takes it. I think we're going to see a new record this year. I'm going 26 under.
Whoo, that would be fire.
It'd be so fun.
That'd be 62s and 63s on the board, and that's fireworks, because when Scottie gets hot, Scottie don't get caught.
When the man has just a straight pull off the tee that he can't correct and still gain strokes with the driver and finishes in 7th place.
It's not fair. It's not fair at all. I think that if Scottie doesn't do it that way, it's going to be Akshay Bhatia at 25 under par, because I want fireworks, and the guys that make the most birdies very, very often are guys like Akshay Bhatia, Scottie Scheffler, Justin Thomas when he's right, and of course Rory for example. We barely talked about him, but it's just we like to see the mental state get a little better.
Yep. One guy that we didn't mention, and I'm only mentioning now because I managed to go an entire show without mentioning him. Luke Clanton can easily get to 20 plus under, and he could sneak into a very good place this weekend.
All right, let's call it on that. Thank you for joining us. Next week is the Rocket. That's going to be fun, from Detroit Rock City. We'll see you next time.